Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. What do you think? Are the Ukrainians running low on tank crews? I think they did not have tank crews for Leopard 2 or Challenger 2 or Abrams tanks 1. I don't think so. I think they were operated by other kind of crews speaking different languages. But I have no evidence to support that, but only brain. And since I don't intend to play full retard in this video, I think they're operated by others and not by the Ukrainians. Not that the Ukrainians are idiots or anything. No, that's not what it is. Or they can't do it. They didn't have the time. And these guys will not give the Ukrainians this piece of equipment, expensive and modern, for them to take to the Russians. I don't think so. Why? Because they will be blown up, not being experts in that, not a tank crew. They will be blown up by the Russians, and the Russians will use that as propaganda. Hey, see, we picked them like popcorn, puck, 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 puck. I think the same thing is with the air defense systems. I said this before, and it seems like it's confirmed. Let me go to this article coming from the evil ones, right there on the left-hand upper corner. December 21st, 2023. Ukraine running out of crews for German-made battle tanks. Die Welt. Now, this is not Russian. Die Welt, the world, the German, whatever it is. So Die Welt said they are running. Well, bring some more Bundeswehr soldiers. Soldieren, is that how I say? I don't know if that's how you call it. Soldieren, so I don't know. There are fewer people signing up to train in the operation of Leopard 2 tanks, the German paper reports. What do you mean signing up? I think it's an order. Hey, Ivan, Dmitry, and Zelensky, go and you get the training. How do you think? Signing up? Do you think volunteer? That's how it works in the military. Have you been under this kind of environment? Do you think, hey, John, would you like to go on a mission today? Patrolling in Iraq? No? You don't feel okay? Tummy hurts? Okay, take a step. Throw you up in a second. Throw you out in a second. And throw you up in a second. So, let's see. The Ukrainian armed forces are reportedly experiencing a shortage of personnel to train in the operation of Leopard 2 tanks. According to a report by Die Welt's correspondent in Kiev, Paul Ronzheimer. Holy fuck. Ronzheimer. It follows an announcement on Tuesday by Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky that the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine had requested to mobilize an additional 450,000 to 500,000 people. Some lawmakers have even proposed drafting women if deemed necessary. And Mr. Umerov, the Ukrainian Minister of Defense, he said that he's going to have a little draft with those Ukrainians living abroad, like in Canada, or United States of America, or Germany, or Great Britain. No? Okay. And said it's not going to be any sanctions, but the Constitution says if you don't show up, that's called this, and then this is the punishment. Not be the Constitution. Anyway, so they're running low, that's for sure. Kiev forces have been suffering heavy casualties amid the ongoing Ukrainian counteroffensive, with Russia's defense ministry revealing earlier this week that the Ukrainian army has lost nearly 400,000 troops since February 2022. In the report, Ronzheimer noted that Kiev's plans to mobilize 500,000 people have caused shock among Ukrainians and demonstrated how, and I'm quoting, difficult the situation is for Ukraine. Oh, right here. All right. The journalist noted that Ukraine's shortage of troops and difficulties mobilizing additional forces are problems that have existed for a long time. As one example of these long-standing issues, Ronzheimer pointed out that training centers in Germany for teaching Ukrainian soldiers to operate Leopard 2 tanks are currently operating at half capacity. Could it be also because they will not give them tanks? I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, you give them 3 tanks and you're gonna train 50,000 Ukrainians? And I'm quoting, "This means that at the moment there are not enough people for training, and if this war lasts longer, it will naturally cause problems, because in the end everything depends on how many soldiers each side has at its disposal," Ronsheimer said. You mofo, didn't you know that from the very beginning Russia is 145 million and these guys were 40 million? So from there you should have stopped. Like, what's his name? But these guys don't care. Viktor Orban said exactly the same thing in interview with Tucker Carlson. With Tucker Carlson, he has this the same logic. He said Russia will not run out of troops before these guys. Yeah, but what probably these guys did not take into consideration, the Western countries will pump troops over there as volunteers and love makers and whatever, peacemakers. Ukraine has carried out multiple waves, and we have here, let me show you this. Where is it? Right here. This title here. Read more. Ukraine tells draft dodgers to return home and fight. That's not only that, but anyway, in Facebook poll posted by Ukrainian MP Mariana Bezuglaya, which I think she's going to be arrested pretty soon, on Monday, an overwhelming majority of Ukrainians also stated that they would be willing to renounce their citizenship in order to avoid being drafted in the military. Out of some 4,300 men who took part in the poll, 73% said keeping a Ukrainian passport was not worth the risk. Of the 3,800 women who responded to a similar question, 65% said they wouldn't risk their lives for their citizenship. You know why? Not because they are cowards. I think they see that they're not fighting for Ukraine. They're fighting for faceless interests. Would you fight for that? Well, if they push the propaganda on you that you're attacked by Saddam Hussein and alike, yeah, you go in a role. I covered today in an article, and I don't think it was very well received by some, which I didn't tell a lie, and my interpretation was not idiotic. How could it be? Look at me. I identify as not idiotic, so you gotta respect that one. As you respect others, wanting to be called this and that and use certain kind of pronouns. So I think I deserve, not earn, I deserve, because I say so, that honor and respect. Anyway, let's go back to this. So they will not come to fight. They will not come to fight in. They see through this. It's not for their own country. It's for those interests. And as I said, I covered that article with that Irish-born former Marine, U.S. Marine, who was 45. He fought in Iraq. He wrote a book about it, and he died in Ukraine. And he, in his book, said that when the attacks on September 11, 2001 occurred in New York City, and not only, he immediately went and he wanted to be drafted, and he joined the Marines and so on. So he said, for that. And then I said, in that thing, well, you didn't even, I don't think you knew, I don't know what he knew or not, but his actions told me that, because he said, I have to fight for what? What did you fight for? You were in Iraq because Iraq did it? Iraq? So my point was like, most are used. Sorry to say that. Vietnam, used. Remember the Gulf of Tonkin? Oh, we fought communism. And what happened? What happened? And remember, China turned communist a few years before you were fighting in Vietnam. Half of North Korea, of Korean Peninsula, turned communist. I mean, if you take, there was the domino effect. If one falls, another one falls, and another one falls. We stopped it. Psst. So again, a lot of people some people say about the Second World War. Some people say, well, maybe we fought on the wrong side. And one of them, I think, was, if I remember correctly, this question asked Howard Zinn, the guy who wrote People's History of the United States of America. He was, during the Second World War, a bomber, okay, in a crew of a bomber. And he said that he saw a lot of just mowing the retreating German columns, not fighters, but civilians who were just mowed down. There were orders. Read about it. So, did they deserve that? Like I deserve to? I don't think so. At that time, I don't think it worked like that as now. I identify, I deserve, you owe me, and you gotta respect me. Otherwise, you lose your job, and who knows what. But hey, you can't do the same thing. Only I can do that. All right, the garbage is over here. The problem is these guys don't have crew members because they don't have the Leopard tanks and don't have people. I think they can bring and train them. It's not that they don't. How many tanks? Get tanks. Let's say 100 tanks. 100 tanks, you need about what? 500 people. You don't have 500 people, 600 people to train for 100 tanks. I mean, the 600 people that you will train for, you know, the benefit of getting 100 tanks, I think, is bigger than having them mowed down in half of day in, let's say, Ukraine, right? Too many signals that if you put them together, you got a big shit, which is Ukraine has big number of casualties, the military casualties, and they don't have people who are willing, or they're getting ready to grab from the street, or now they move towards what? Abroad, Canada and the United States of America. That's what they do. So all these signals paint the picture. These guys are really desperate. We'll see it. NATO countries will move their troops in there under euphemistic volunteers or whatever garbage name, instructors or inspectors and so on. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.